wireless array or whatever.
I don't know what my Howard Rundle.
Yeah, I was just.
Because she was asking about the operations of the center.
No, she asked.
All right, hi everybody. I'm meteorologist David Glenn here live in the Storm Track 9 Weather Center. I'm live as of 9:45 p.m. Friday evening, May the 16th. So if you're watching this on replay, understand this is before all these storms arrive. We'll be having live storm tracking as storms arrive after midnight or so. But right now we're giving you an update on what's happening. And for many of you, you probably had your Storm Track 9 app go off or your No Alert Radio go off. It's a good thing you've got those armed because, as you can see here, parts of our viewing area are now under a tornado watch. And there's no surprise here that we would see a lot of these watches get issued well in advance of the line of storms. And I'm going to show you on radar, it's still several hours away, but this watch is out till 4 a.m. Eastern time. It'll take that long for the storms to drop all the way down to the southeast and make their way even farther south. So for areas of northeast Alabama, North Georgia, not under watch yet, eventually you may be, whether it's a tornado or severe thunderstorm watch with time. So please understand that. And I'll show you the radar view coming up momentarily. But again, most of our viewing area, Southeast Tennessee, that watch now out until at least 4 a.m. Eastern time. That includes Chattanooga, Cleveland, all the way up to Knoxville and into Morristown. Radar view at this time, well, this is how it looks right now. It's clear. And as we mentioned at 6 o'clock, there wasn't going to be a whole lot going on through the early stage of the evening hours, but eventually things will start picking up. Let me make the radar a little bit bigger. Well, hang on one second. I'm going to do just the opposite of this. Hang on one. There we go. That'll make the radar a little bit bigger for you, so you don't have to see me the whole time. I had to think of the right array to show you. But anyway, not much happening on the radar view at the moment, but things are really starting to pick up farther off to our north and to our west. Here's that line of storms. This is what we're going to be watching the rest of the nighttime hours. It's this storm from the Boot Heel, Missouri, all the way to about Bowling Green. There are several tornado watches, or excuse me, warnings along that line, several severe thunderstorm warnings as well. I'm going to remove that flood advisory because it's going to be, one, it doesn't impact us, but two, it's going to kind of get in the way of the radar view. It's going to kind of obscure things just a little bit. So let me clean that up just a little bit for a second. That took care of it. There's a current.
Okay, so that's what I'm texting tonight.
All right, there we go. Oh, it took a second. As you can see way up here for Kentucky, Bowling Green, both west and east of there, several active tornado warnings there. These are severe thunderstorm warnings along that line. So just above the border with Tennessee and north of Nashville metro area, storms have been quite active. Now, this line is what we're going to be watching the rest of the overnight hours, watching this right here. This will be approaching Nashville, I would say in the 11 o'clock hour Eastern. So 10 to 11 Nashville time. And that's going to be dropping down with time to the south and east. It'll pick up some speed as well and start moving by through the rest of the overnight hours. And I'll show you the timeline coming up momentarily. But there you can see several severe thunderstorm warnings all up and down that line. Some of these could have wind gusts of 60 to 80 miles an hour. It's very powerful. And along with that, the risk of an isolated tornado could happen. I think this next graphic is going to show you, these are just where the active tornado warnings are at the time. So there's a few. There's one east of Bowling Green. That may be the only one. Also one north of Bowling Green. So at the time, those were the only tornado warnings are. I wanted to just show this radar kind of to isolate where the tornado warnings were. We'll keep tabs on that map as we go through the night. But you can see these red outlines, these polygons outlining where the tornado watches are in effect at the time. Stretching from Chattanooga all the way to Little Rock and northward to Nashville and Cincinnati. In fact, I'm going to take the satellite view off just for a second. I'm going to also take off the wind particles. We're just going to kind of clean up the noise here just a little bit. And That'll just give you a better view of what's happening out there. So again, what we're watching for the rest of the night, this line right here. Moving that, that's moving over the past 3 hours. You can see how it developed. If you're watching at 6 o'clock tonight, I mentioned how fast that was going to develop, and there it is right there. It'll make some acceleration to the south and east as well as we go through the night. So again, nothing's really changed with the overall threat level. Again, this area quite active here. They've kind of backed that level 4 back a little bit here and away from St. Louis. This has now moved near there, but locally, we're still under that level 1 through 3. Best not to get caught up looking at the dividing line. Everybody has a risk. Okay, so I've seen severe storms happen at level 1. I've seen severe storms happen at level 3. Now understand, there is more energy north and west and south and east. Eventually, as it moves with time, it'll lose some energy. But everybody locally needs to stay alert during the night. And here's the reason why. Damaging wind gusts are the higher percentage chance. We see this dash line. That represents the higher capacity that some wind gusts within 25 miles of a point could exceed 60 to 80 miles an hour. Very powerful, high end of a severe thunderstorm warning. And those wind speeds borderline an EF0, EF1 tornado. So the damage could be about the same. Around Chattanooga, Cleveland, Athens, down to Dalton, found a 15% chance overall. The farther south you should go, with time, it does lose some strength down to a 5%. So here, your higher percentage chances of the threats are damaging wind gusts. As far as tornadoes, it's lower. It's good. It's not zero. And again, have I seen tornadoes happen under 2%? You bet I have. And even 5% as well. So this 5% is expanded just a little bit more of the northwestern part of our viewing area, 2% over the rest. And it does trend lower than that the farther southeast you go. But again, all areas need to be mindful of that. Any breaks on the line, sometimes you get quick spin ups. It is going to be a situation where we've seen individual tornado warnings now, but they're all going to start forming in a line. Typically when that happens, it's more damaging wind gusts, but a quick spin up can't be ruled out. And as I just mentioned a moment ago, some of the wind speeds could provide damage that mimics or is like an EF0, EF1 tornado, be it in a straight line wind fashion. Hail risk is also there. It's a higher percentage chance in tornadoes. We see the dash marks. That's where you could get 2-inch diameter hail, ping pong ball size hail. Northwest of the plateau, but Cumberland County's in there. 15% for at least quarter size, similar to what we had last week. And then a lesser of a chance the farther southeast you go. So you see the general trend, higher northwest, lower to the south and east. So let's talk about timing here for a second. This is what we call, some of you may see these models call it the HRRR, but I call it the high res model. So when I refer to the high res, I'm talking about the HRRR. I just call it high res. I'm old school. Okay. So anyway, noticing around midnight, and again, the line may be moving a little faster than this. So this estimates around midnight Eastern. That's where the line is. Let's move this on along just a little bit more. Let's go out to about 1:45 Eastern. All right. Let me back that up one more time. We'll start that loop back over. There's midnight Eastern. Now let's move ahead to about 1:30 Eastern. It's taking its own sweet time. A little slower than some of the projections I showed earlier on today, but it shows around 1:30. Still waiting on it to move on by. It does pick up speed, though. Watch the movement from around 1:30 to 3. So Crossville, southern parts of Middle Tennessee, and then 3 to about 4 starts to cover more of our viewing area. So this is looking more like at 2 to 4 a.m. I'm backing it up an hour because it does appear that line is moving a little faster than this model's initiating. So in Chattanooga proper, I'd say between 2 and 4 a.m. Moving through. This shows estimate north of the city around 4:15, but either way, in that time, and I'm going to back it up a little bit from, say, 3 to 4, so it's getting more active, but I'll back it up an hour. So 2 to 4. 2 to 4 start impacting a larger part of our viewing area. Beyond that time, let's go to 5:30. All right, so anytime really between 4 and 6, it's sinking south, affecting from the city to Dalton to Calhoun. By the time we get to 7:30, 8 o'clock, most of the rain's moving out. So by sunrise, a lot of this is going to be moving out rather quickly. And really, the rest of the day, Saturday, improves. By 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, everything is gone, and you have sunshine back the rest of the day. So it is moving a little slower than the model showed earlier on today. So let's go again one more time. So after midnight, I'd say between about 2 a.m., affecting the northwestern part of our viewing area, and between 2 and 4, reaching close to Chattanooga, Cleveland, Dayton, Pikeville, 2 to 4 Eastern. And then between, say, 3 and 5 Eastern, getting into northwest Georgia. Again, I'm backing up a little bit of an hour with some of this. So because it is moving a little faster, and sometimes the lines do speed up with time that the models can't keep up. So between 3 and 5 south of the state line, and between 5 and 7 starting to move out. And I would say by 8 o'clock, a lot of any severity's moved out. So not lasting all night long, but in that 2 to 8 a.m. time frame, 6-hour window, northwest to southeast, that's going to move on by. So we still have several more hours for anything starts to happen. That's sort of a general timeline with that. And again, we are alert for obvious reasons. We've had this designated as weather alert since Tuesday night. So we issue these alerts and keep you posted. We do this, try to give you enough lead time as possible. Again, I'm going to change this time on the fly here. I said midnight to 6. I'll put it now. I'll still say 1 to 7. So let's do a quick update on that real quickly. You'll see a change here. And our main concern is, of course, this whole line of storms moving in could provide damage and wind gusts. So I'll change the timeline there just a little bit. You can see it noted on the screen there. 1 to 8. But when you have these lines move by at such a fast, rapid pace aloft, that wind speed is going to translate to the surface, and you can get damage and wind gusts. So that's priority number 1. Quick split up tornadoes can't be ruled out either. That's the reason why it is listed there on the graphic with a few tornadoes possible. So down trees, power outages are going to be very possible because of the fast forward speed of the system. So it's very important, if you're watching on your mobile device right now, keep this thing charged. All right, keep it charged for the next few hours so that in the event you lose power, you'll be able to get information, okay? Also make sure that your mobile device location services are turned on and that your phone is not on silent. Mine's on silent because I'm in a studio setting. I don't want it to go off while we're on the air or on the live stream. But make sure your tones are turned way up so it can wake you up. If you have a no alert radio, make sure it's also active. That little button on the side, make sure it's active and it can get you the warnings and wake you up. That's the one problem when storms are happening like this time of night. I wish I could be able to run down the street and knock on everybody's door and say, wake up, there's a warning. But I can't. But there's one way I can. Download that free Storm Track 9 app, which you can find in your app store. Just look for WTVCWX. WTVCWX. You can download that app. It's free. Turn on your location services, and that'll allow me to knock on your door, get that alert tone to you, and wake you up. Make sure you're warned ahead of time. That's why we're here, to make sure you are alert and are aware. But again, all modes of severe weather are possible. We'll go through the breakdown here in just a second. But again, it's for damage and wind gusts, number 1. Tornadoes are possible as well. It is a lower chance. It is a lower chance compared to earlier, compared to the damage and wind gust threat, but it's greater than 0. Hey, someone just said they have no sound. I just see one person is. Can y'all hear me okay? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear okay. Just making sure. Just making sure you can hear me okay. I just noticed one comment saying no sound, so I'm just making sure. All right, tornado watch is in effect for a large part of our viewing area. And since we showed you the map earlier, a lot of the forecast offices, the Storm Prediction Center will put out the box, and then each forecast area Forecast Office will put out warnings for their individual areas. So before, Franklin was not on there. That's where the National Weather Service in Huntsville comes in. So all of Southeast Tennessee under this tornado watch out till 4 a.m. 4 a.m. Oh, good. Everybody can hear me. Fantastic. All right, there's a radar view for now. I want to show you again. It's still several hours away. You know, we just showed you the timeline. God, we're probably still 3 hours or more away from the storms moving in, so it's going to be a while. And let's take a look at the radar loop. Here's where the storms are now. We'll take a closer look at them. They're still north and west of Nashville. So I would say around Nashville, it's going to get there probably within the 11 to 12, the western part of Nashville's metro area, 11 to 12 Eastern, 10 to 11 Central Time. And you can see along this line, there are several tornado warnings there. One near Bowling Green, just east, and then stretching from northern Kentucky all the way down to South Paducah. And you get that line stretching all the way down to near Little Rock. That's just where our live radar shows. Let's go to the expanded view here. And you can see that line going all the way down to around the Little Rock area. And that shows you the evolution over the past hour. And again, this shows you all the tornado watch boxes that are in effect. Ours is out till 4 a.m. Eastern. So it basically means this won't clear there for another 6 hours. It's a long time. And again, there's that weather risk factor. Highest risk. This does not change at all throughout the day. Level 4 risk. That's on a scale of 1 to 5. Moderate risk from Nashville north of the Cincinnati. It does drop the farther southeast you go. When looking and analyzing the upper level energy, there's a lot of energy out there. If you just go outside tonight, it's very warm and humid. So there's ample fuel there. The forward speed alone, the system diving down to the south and east, is going to create the damaging wind threat. And that's why it's got the top priority right now. However, you can oftentimes get a quick spin up tornado when there are line breaks. You can get quick spin ups along those line breaks. And eventually what we'll see happen, and let me go back to the radar view here. And I'll use Kentucky as an example. See how there's some individual cells firing up? Eventually it's all going to become what we call linear throughout the night. So instead of seeing activity like this that's on its own, individual supercells developing, it's going to be more, by the time it reaches us, in this fashion, more linear in nature. So when that starts to happen, you start getting the fast forward motion, and the damaging wind threat is the biggest threat. But please keep in mind, those gusts could be between 60 and 80 miles an hour. That's extremely powerful, and it's a big punch all at once. It's on that leading edge of that line of storms. As I mentioned earlier, oftentimes that wind damage, even though it's straight line, it can still mimic that of an EF0, EF1 tornado. Cause property damage, bring trees down, big tree limbs down. So it's a very powerful system. And again, with all this warm, moist air, it's going to keep the fuel in there necessary throughout the night. The upper level ingredients, and the reason why that level 4 is stronger, you're seeing more of those cellular type storms developing here. There's more of that upper level energy in Nashville and Cincinnati. And again, with time, that will wane a bit. But the upward forcing as that line draws closer to us, it's all still there. And that's why it's going to be very powerful with those strong wind gusts that could be causing the damage. And again, a quick spin up tornado can't be ruled out with that. A lot of energy with that. Let's see. Looking at questions here. Hello, Jackie. Thanks for watching. Hello, Shawnee, Joycelyn, Jerry. Jeff watching from Etowah. Yeah, Jeff in Etowah, Tennessee. Yeah. 2 to 4 a.m. on that time frame. That's when I think it may reach Etowah, that part of McMinn County. Jackie, you are correct. A lot of humidity out there tonight. You can feel it out there. Coloni says, when does it end? Well, tell you what, it will end right before sunrise. Right before sunrise, just after. I don't know where your location is. If you're north of the city, well before sunrise. South of the city, just after sunrise. Most of the day tomorrow is fine. It's just very early. Okay. Hello, Tammy, watching from Ringgold. Hey, Lisa from Pikeville. Wait. Who said that? Alice says, just jumping on. Are we in the clear? No, it's clear now. Yes. But we're under a tornado watch. Most of our viewing area is Southeast Tennessee, and we got this line incoming overnight. I would say probably north and west, and I'll show you the timeline coming up. But overnight, nope, we still have a almost severe weather possible threat. Damaging wind gusts, tornadoes, and large hail, very possible. Let's see. Hello, Amy in Trenton. Brent, yes, severe hail is still possible. A little bit higher odds of that north of the city. Thank you for your kind words, Alyssa. Appreciate you. Hey, Josh from Benton. Courtney in Dalton. Dalton, I think 3 to 5 a.m. It's going to be that 3 to 5 a.m. window when that line of storms could approach. Hello, Joyce watching from East Ridge. Hey, Donetta from Athens. Robert, Cleveland, I think in that 2 to 4 a.m. time frame. Same as Chattanooga, 2 to 4, roughly. We'll have to watch, see if that line speeds up, but 2 to 4. Hello, Letitia watching from Dalton. Hello, Shasta watching from Fort Oglethorpe. All right, folks, let's go through this time. Let's go through the breakdown one more time here. So I mentioned the level 4 threat, Nashville northward, and then as you drop south and east, it does get lower, but it's not zero. And that's why I emphasize this. Yes, this is you're going to have more energy across our plateau counties, Crossville, Pikeville, Dunlap, Tracy City, Mount Eagle. And the farther southeast you go, it will lose a little bit of more energy. But a threat is a threat. If you're at a level 1, you got to treat it just as importantly as a level 2 or level 3. I've seen severe storms happen at level 1. I've seen tornadoes happen with a level 1, just as much as level 2 or level 3. Okay, so I don't want anyone letting their guard down, looking at the map going, I'm good. And again, not every area will be impacted by the severe elements. There'll be some areas that are in a gap, not much going on. Just don't know where that's going to be. Okay, many of us locally, large part of viewing there would be impacted by at least the very least, very strong wind gust. Okay. Heath asking, what is the sleeve con rating? They're up. Sleeves are up. They're going to stay up because I'm going to be up most of the night. Glad you asked, Heath. Thanks for that. All right, here's a breakdown. Damaging wind gust threat is the highest risk factor. This dashed line area emphasizes where within 25 miles of a point, and that's pretty close. You could have gusts in that 60 to 80 mile an hour range, exceeding the high end of severe thunderstorm range. And some of those mimicking what you could have with a tornado. Now, there is a dividing line. Best not to think too much about that. 30 to 15 is significant, but 15 is pretty high on the scale. So from, say, Scottsboro, Trenton, Chickamauga, Ringgold, Fort Oglethorpe, Rossville, Chattanooga, Hickson, Cleveland, Athens, it's all 15% chance. So pretty good odds damaging wind gusts could occur. And that's at least gust reaching 60 miles an hour. And then the odds do drop a little bit more south of Dalton to Calhoun. So Calhoun, Somerville, Tryon, maybe not as strong, a little lesser of an odds because it will be weakening with time by the time it reaches you way, way deep into the pre-dawn hours, getting closer to sunrise. That's why the chance is a little bit lower. But everybody has a percentage chance. That's why I said if you're not zero, unless you're zero, you got to pay attention. But if you notice the damaging wind threat and then compare that to tornado threat, it is lower. But as I mentioned, it's not zero. Many of us 2 to 5%. This is still pretty significant. Okay. It is much lower, Dalton and South. That's great. We'll keep an eye on that. But even these areas not under that, just be aware a quick spin up could occur. So all areas locally need to stay alert. Higher odds, you'll notice where the banner is up in here. Nashville Metro, basically, all the way to probably Cookville. That's where it's pretty significant. Okay. Hail risk is there. Higher odds of the large hail in the city, but even higher odds north and west. So from Van Buren County back west of the plateau toward Nashville, you have higher odds of large hail, but even locally, 15% is pretty significant. You could have at least quarter-size hail, and we had a lot of that last week. A little bit less of a chance farther south and east of the city. All right, here's our timeline here, and we'll get an update. I think the high-rise update is coming in. It's right now, I think this is a little bit better run than it was when I showed it earlier. So let's take a look at it. So that's at midnight Eastern. So for those of you watching Central Time Zone, these are all Eastern time that I'm showing. So midnight Eastern, 1:30. It could be near Cumberland County by 1:30 Eastern, 12:30 Central. And then we go around 3 a.m. Boy, it's really slowing this line down a little bit. It does have, I don't want to see that. See how these cells developing in advance of the line? That can be concerning. That, again, this is just a model. But these individual discrete cells developing could be problematic. We'll just see if that happens. That'd be around 3 a.m. There's that line, 3 a.m., 4:15 from the city and north. So from the state line and north, 2 to 4 a.m. starts getting more active, 2 to 4. And then 5:30, it's really slowing it down. 5:30 Eastern time, stretching over a large part of the viewing area. And it's that leading edge will be the worst severity. That's at 5:30. And this takes us to 8 a.m. The severe threat will have pushed way out. It'll be way down to the south. And then any residual rain may linger until 8. This is not severe at 8 a.m. And skies clear on out by midday in the afternoon. It's going to be pretty warm afternoon tomorrow. Let's show you our in-house future track model. Let me back it up just a little bit. All right, so this is our in-house model. It shows, see, it's a little faster. Which model's right, we'll have to watch as the night goes on. This shows around 1:45 or so reaching north of the city, so 2 to 3 in the city. Okay, again, the high res is a little slower than this. Keep that in mind. I'm showing you two different model comparisons here. 3, and then by 5, it pushes it out much quicker. Now, this model doesn't update every hour like the high res does. The high res is analyzing throughout the hour what's happening currently. So we have to take this with a grain of salt. This model was updated around 8 p.m. It's really 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern. The high-res model is done every hour. So I got to take that in more consideration this time. But notice it does move it out pretty quickly. And this is the rest of the day tomorrow. By 9, 10 a.m., we're all dry, getting more sunshine back. And really, if you have any outdoor plans tomorrow, other than the early morning, looks pretty good. Sunshine and upper 80s. Pretty good. As far as the rest of your weekend, we will get some showers coming back in here early Sunday morning. Severe threat's pretty low Sunday, maybe a little noisy, but this is Sunday morning, showers and thunder. It'll take over for a large part of the morning. It's mid-morning, so church time, some showers going to be around. But I think by the afternoon, it does improve. So some sunshine back Sunday afternoon and mid-80s. I know we have the Ironman event going on. They did cancel the swimming portion, but the biking, running portion remains. So it may be a little wet for spectators and participants during the morning Sunday, but improving for the afternoon. So there you go. Again, we're looking at sort of that 1 to 8 northwest to southeast time frame, just based on those two model runs. So it's kind of that 6 to 7 hour window there. All modes of severe weather are possible. We showed the breakdown of percentage chance, but again, I don't want anyone to let their guard down. It's like, it's just a 2% chance tornado. I've seen tornadoes happen at 2%. Okay. And I've seen it happen at 5%. So please keep that in mind. Please stay on guard. I do anticipate, because of the fast forward speed and the strong damage and wind gust potential, there could be downed trees, and a lot of power outages could result from that. So it's very important to keep your mobile devices charged until you need them as these storms start to move in. And again, we got all modes possible with the damaging wind gust, but also a few tornadoes remain possible with this. Certainly hope not. I want to see that, but it's very, very possible. And again, locally, the only area under watch at the moment, and I'll show you all the other watches going on at the moment. Southeast Tennessee, this watch out until 4 a.m. Eastern time. So for those of you across Georgia, Alabama, not under a watch yet, eventually with time you will be. Okay. Eventually you will be. Whether it's tornado or severe thunderstorm deeper into the night. Oh, wait. Let's see. That's fine. And that's leading off 11, right? Okay. Thank you. Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, radar view again. We're dry. We're going to be that way for the next several hours. Not much going on. In fact, we'll end this stream in about 15 minutes or so, and then we'll have our 11 o'clock newscast coming up, which will talk more about the storms yet to arrive. And then we'll have, of course, live streaming as storms start to arrive. So rest assured, as storms start to arrive, we'll have live streaming as we usually do. So at the moment, not a whole lot happening, but there are ongoing storms now north and west of Nashville up towards Bowling Green. Again, there are several tornado warnings right here and severe thunderstorm warnings. Notice again, more tornado warnings on those outer cells away from the line, but still within the line, a few of these have some quick spin ups. So we got to be mindful of that. And this goes all the way back to Boot Heel, Missouri. And I'll expand the view here just a little bit. These are just where the tornado warnings are. I'll just show you, for example, if you know anybody in that area of southern Kentucky. That's for Adair and Russell County, Kentucky, out to 10:45 Eastern. But here is the long line of storms we're watching. That's the line we're watching right there. Now, notice it's broken a bit there. It goes to here, and the line breaks to about right here. Some of the models had shown that. Some of the models had shown earlier today kind of a break. We got this going this way. And then this line going more this way in North Mississippi, North Alabama. So there's a little break there. We'll see if it fills back in. Give it time, it might, you know. But some of the models had indicated a little bit of a split going on. But you can see the overall number of tornado watches out. The one over us out to 4 a.m., several others into Kentucky, through Indiana, Ohio, and then back through Arkansas and west parts of Tennessee. Let's see questions here. Emily, no signs of weakening yet. Yeah, way too early. We might see that trend deep into the overnight, but for now, there's still plenty of energy, and these things are still evolving and getting stronger. So the next few hours will still be like that. Maybe after midnight into the pre-dawn hours, things may start to ease back a bit, but that would turn into more of still a damaging wind threat. All right. See, hey, Beverly watching from Trenton and Betty from South Pittsburgh. Let's see. Hello, Joshua. Thanks for watching. Yeah, Angela, it is coming from the northwest. If you look again, it's northwest of Chattanooga, so it's going to be moving northwest to the southeast, like that. There might be with time more of a northerly component, more north to south, but that's the direction it's coming in from the northwest. Hello, Stacy, watching from Blue Ridge, beautiful Blue Ridge, Georgia. Hello, Teresa, watching from Dayton Mountain. Hey, David from Trenton. Hope you're doing okay. And there's our breakdown again. Storm Prediction Center will probably have another update, I believe, between 11 and midnight. between 11 and midnight. And we'll go over the timeline here in a second. People are asking about the time for your city. We'll get to that again in a moment. There again, the higher odds for damaging wind gusts. Anytime this becomes more of a linear type of event with a line coming in, you're going to get that fast forward speed. And sometimes those high wind gusts aloft can translate down to the surface and you get those damaging wind gusts. Some of the gusts could be between 60, 80 miles an hour, 60 being the threshold for severe, technically 58. We kind of rounded up to 60, but 60 to 80 miles an hour is possible with some of these storms coming in. So your higher odds of that, where these dashed lines are, there are other parts of Grundy, Sequatchie, Bledsoe, Van Buren, and Cumberland. And then it does drop a bit gradually. It's not just all of a sudden. The farther southeast you go with time. So the deeper into the night you go, a little bit odds it does pick up just a little bit. Okay. And the tornado risk, again, is much higher way up here from, say, Nashville to Franklin, maybe just north of Murfreesboro, Smyrna, over to about Cookville. And then the more you drop down to the south and east, it does ease a bit. However, but that said, again, 2 to 5% is still significant. Unless you're 0%, heads up, okay? Because I've seen tornadoes happen at 2%, just as much as 5%. Hail risk is there also for large hail. The dash lines indicate where you could see higher odds of 2-inch diameter hail. 15% chance locally for us for at least 1-inch diameter hail, which is severe. So it could be quarter size. And then chances do drop a bit more to the south and east as this becomes more linear in fashion. You don't tend to get, with time, once it forms that line and with time pushes south and east, the updrafts become a little bit less intense. So you get a little less hail with that. It starts moving more at a rapid pace. All right, so here's our high-res model again. So everybody want to know what time your area, this is an estimate, okay? This is an estimate. So around midnight Eastern, around the Nashville metro area. Now, again, this line may speed up or slow down a bit. The high-res model over the past 2 runs has shown a little bit of a slowdown, okay? So from midnight to about 1:30, doesn't move much, kind of migrates along I-40. Notice it kind of hangs out here, a few developments here. We'll have to see if that actually happens or if we just deal with the main line. If you do deal with development in advance of the line, that can be problematic. Individual cells at advance of the line could become quite severe. Could be higher odds of producing tornadoes with them. It's just something to throw out there. Again, this is just a model example. Doesn't mean it's going to translate exactly to that. We're just kind of using this as guidance for a timeline. Okay. So notice how quickly from 1 a.m., where it's, again, staying north and west, but from 1:30 to 3 in 90 minutes time, look how much area it covers. That's how fast this will start moving. And that acceleration is going to bring some damaging wind gusts to the surface there a bit. That's at 3 a.m. 4:15. So again, I put all areas north of the Tennessee state line in a 2 a.m., 4 a.m., 2 to 4 Eastern time window of when it could start, 2 to 4. And then basically south of the state line, 3 to 5, because this is going to fluctuate with time, okay? So I say 3 to 5 south of the city, 3 to 5 south of the state line. And then 7:30, 8 o'clock, again, the leading edge where the severe threat is. So by sunrise, just afterward, it is exiting to the south. Okay. So the rest of your Saturday looks good. Clouds early, and then it's going to become partly sunny, breezy, summer-like day back in the 80s. So most of the day tomorrow is fine for outdoor activities, except very, very early in the day. Kelly asking, just got here. I keep seeing conflicting reports. Why conflicting? Athens in the slight area, or should I be worried? Yeah, Athens is in the level 2 slight risk. You should never be worried. Just be prepared. Be aware. Stay alert. Stay prepared. Okay? So Athens, as it has been all day, it's been under a level 2 threat. That'll be the main case overnight. But a level 2 risk is worth watching. Chances there for all modes of severe weather. Damaging wind gusts, the top priority. Tornado threat and hail threat is also there. but damaging wind gusts being the highest priority. But all modes are possible. So nothing conflicting there. All right. You have the same risk Chattanooga does. Okay. So that's basically the timeline on the short high-res model. Here's our in-house model. I'll show this again. It shows 130, 145, a little faster speed. Again, this is just a model interpretation. Again, this future track was a couple of hours ago. The high-res model I showed earlier updates every hour. So it's analyzing the current radar trends and trying to pick up there a little bit, see what's going on. And boy, it shows it moving fast. Hold on. Let's get some pause points in there. So it shows 3 a.m. around the city. So that and the high-res model are pretty close. 1 to 3 kind of picking up. And then it moves it out quicker, 5 to 6 moving out. And again, folks, you get 7, 8 a.m. Most of this is moving on out of here, so not too bad. I did see Faye Bradley ask, what's it like for down home days in Chickamauga tomorrow? Looks okay. Looks okay. Now, for tents that may be set up early at down home days, maybe a little cleanup early because of the wind potentially. But I think for most of the day, down home days after 7, 8 a.m., it looks okay. Okay. Harold asked a good question here, and I'm going to back up to the tornado risk here a little bit. Harold asked this question. He lives in Tryon, Georgia, home of the Tryon Bulldogs. He says Tryon's not under a 2% risk of tornadoes, and that is true. That is true. Notice if you look at the damaging wind risk, there is a risk of damaging wind gusts, and basically Somerville and Tryon, Chattooga County under level 1. So there is a chance for damaging wind gust, but the tornado threat down below 2. In this case, it is outside the 2% threshold, but it's still close enough. Okay, so I would still stay aware. There's still, you can't rule out a quick spin up there and Tryon. It's very low end chance for now, but just be aware that chance, it does exist for at least a quick spin up. Okay, so good question though, Harold. Glad you asked that, because a lot of areas like Dalton, Calhoun, Tryon, Somerville, Fort Payne, Rome are all out of that, but I'd still stay aware. Okay. All right. Joshua asked, can tornadoes go over mountains? Yeah, they can. All you got to do is look at mountain. After the storms of 2011, in Trenton, went right up, right back down. Didn't cause much disruption at all. Okay. So yes, they can go up and down the mountains. We've seen that, I believe it was in 2010 at the base of the mountain in Kimball. That storm had come up and over there in Marion County in Kimball. I think that was in 2010. If you go look at the damage from 2020 in East Brainerd area, then goes right up over White Oak Mountain, right over the top of it. Didn't stop it. So the mountains around here are a hike for us, not so much for a thunderstorm. Okay, good question though. I'm glad y'all asked that question. Shauna asked, will North Georgia have a tornado watch? I think with time it will, whether it's tornado watch or severe thunderstorm watch. We'll have to watch with time. I didn't mean to be punny there by saying watch, but we'll have to watch with time to see how all of these develop and start moving south and east, what the threat then becomes deeper into the night. But it will be several hours away from any watch going out for Alabama or Georgia, I would just estimate, because they're still a great distance away. This watch, for example, Southeast Tennessee goes way out until 4 a.m. Eastern. So long time. And again, on the radar view, again, there's not much of anything close to us right now. We're still 3 hours away for anything showing up, knocking on our door to the north and west. Okay. Trying to advance the radar here. Oh, don't jam up on me now. It didn't. I knew you could do a computer. But again, if you look where we are, The storms are still 170 miles away. So still several hours away.
Hi, sir. Are you like
As you can see, 4 different tornado watches are in effect. This one out to 4 a.m. I believe this one is out till, it was out till 3 a.m. Eastern.
Sir, I'm so sorry. We were trying to find someone. Never mind. We hope you have a good night. Bye-bye.
And there are more tornado warnings along this line in the individual cells over near London, Kentucky. And there's a breakdown of the severe weather risk, which has not changed. I don't anticipate that to change much either as we go through the night. They've been pretty consistent on that. Storm Prediction Center does a good job of analyzing exactly where the highest energy is. And as I've looked at the breakdown of models today, it's been very consistent, showing areas north and west. And what I mean by that is Nashville. I'll back this map up a little bit. This area here, which originally was near St. Louis too, and they've had damage there. Right in here is going to have most of the energy. That's right where the area low pressure is. So you got that more upper level forcing. And then the deeper you go into the night, it becomes more linear with nature. So it starts trending a little bit weakening trend. And I don't like using that word because it's going to be a long time for that happens. That's the reason why it's showing the trends a little bit weaker from the city and south as the night goes on, the closer you get towards sunrise. But if you stepped outside tonight, it's very warm, very humid. So there's enough buoyancy in the air. The line's going to have a lot of forcing. So it's going to cause quite a bit of heavy rainfall as well. And with our already saturated ground, what would typically be a fast moving line of showers not cause any flooding, it could cause flooding in spots. Some drains are clogged. It's like pouring water on a wet sponge. Water has nowhere to go. So it's going to cause that to happen. Let's see, other questions. Pam says he's not saying anything. What was the question? I'll keep looking. I must have missed the question. I'm sorry. Let's see. Hello, Shirley, watching from Rossville. Joyce asks, it's safe to go to bed now and get up later? Yeah, I mean, if you want to go to sleep, you can. But I always urge, if you're going to go to sleep with the threat of severe weather overnight, have your mobile device alert tones turned way up, way up. You can hear it. So if it goes off, you'll get alerted and wake you up. If you have a no alert radio, okay, be sure that alert tone's turned up. As long as you got a device to wake you up, sure, get some sleep. And those alert tones will go off to let you know when storms are approaching. Okay. Callie asks, why do we have a watch now? Because it's basically a 6-hour window here. The reason why they put the watch out is a 6-hour window from 10 p.m. Eastern to 4 a.m. Eastern when that line of storms will roll on by. Watches are there to let you know that the threat is very possible. And then a warning is when the threat is imminent. Okay. So a lot of times you'll have these watches issued way in advance. It's worth also mentioning, people have asked the question, what's safe and what's not safe. I've heard some people say that some of these storm shelters are open in counties, and you need to check with your own county officials to know where the shelters are open. I don't have that list. You have to ask your individual county. But again, mobile homes, not safe. Cars, not safe. Okay. Large open rooms like a gymnasium, not safe. Okay. Malls, top floors of buildings. Like if you're in an apartment building, you need to be downstairs, basement area. Okay. Top floors are not good. Best place to go in a house, even if you don't have a basement. If you have a basement, great. If you don't, it's okay. Lowest level, away from windows, interior hallway, interior closet, away from windows. Safe place to be, and stay low. Okay. As far away from windows as possible. You don't want to put yourself in the way of shattered glass. Storm shelter, also good if you have one. Basements are great. Interior room, well-built home. Okay. And let me show you also the temperatures outside right now. It is. It's like a summer night. It's very very humid out there. I mean, look at that. We're just shy of 80 right now. Let me get some of the questions here. Yeah, Amber, Grundy isn't at level 3. Yes, you're correct. Let's see. I'm trying to look for Pam's question. Pam had a question. Says, I'm not talking. I must have missed the question. I apologize. I'm trying to keep a look over here as much as I can. Shirley asked, will it be safe to have a garage sale around 8 tomorrow? Shirley, what's your location? But I'll answer this question. I think for many areas, about 8 a.m. will be fine. South of Chattanooga, there may still be some lingering showers at 8 a.m., but they'll rather quickly move away. So maybe 9, 10 a.m., just in case. But I already think about 8 o'clock, the severe threat's done. There might still be a little rain left over if you're south of Chattanooga, but it will be ending shortly. So maybe delay, depending on where you are, the garage sale. But I think you'll be able to go on through the day. George asked, how much time have you got to get to a safe place once you are awakened by a tornado warning? Well, let me just put it this way. If you have a tornado warning for your area, just immediately get to your safe place. So before you go to sleep, know where that safe place is. So that warning goes off, you get there. Okay? I can't say minutes, seconds. It's hard to tell. It's going to be based on where you are in that polygon where the storm is. But the same thing with the severe thunderstorm warning. Even if you're a severe thunderstorm warning, I get to a safe place. With the risk of these winds being 60 to 80 miles an hour, even a severe thunderstorm warning can have damage that mimics a tornado. So take all of these warnings seriously. Let's see. I was trying to see that question I missed. There's so many of them passing by. I'm trying to answer as many as I can. All right, folks. So we have our 11 o'clock newscast coming up in 20 minutes. I got to break away, get these graphics ready, get the models updated. So I'll have the updated information. But we're going to have more live streaming after midnight into the early morning hours as storms start to approach. Okay? So we'll have this live stream here. You'll be alerted as well. So please be aware of that. But we're going to break away from this broadcast for now. Again, I would say between 1 and 3 a.m., 1 and 3 around the city, from the northwest to the city, between 2 and 4 across North Georgia. Again, as this line, it could still speed up or slow down, but I've got that whole window from 1 to 7, northwest to southeast, when that line can move on through. Okay? But thanks for watching this update. This is not the only one. We'll have more storm tracking coming up into the pre-dawn hours and after midnight. But also, we have our 11 o'clock newscast, which you can also watch on your mobile device on newschannel9.com. All right, we're breaking away for now, but we will have more live streaming throughout the night to keep you updated. Thanks for watching, everybody. Stay safe.